Emotional exhaustion is often described as a state of being mentally and physically exhausted due to long term stress or a period of intense exertion. This can be caused by a number of factors such as workload, financial worries, relationship issues, lack of sleep, chronic illness, a big loss, unhealthy habits, or the care of another person, or the combination of many life stresses. It's important to note that emotional exertion is not just limited to periods of stress. It can also be caused by things such as single traumatic event, long-term difficulties, or having too much on your plate. Though not always easy, recognizing when you may be emotionally exhausted is the first step in working towards solutions that will help navigate your state and recover. Emotional exertion can cause various mental, emotional, physical, and behavior symptoms. These symptoms can range from mild to severe depending on how emotionally exhausted you are. Emotional exertion tend to build up gradually over time and eventually leads to complete burnout. That's why it's important to learn to recognize the signs of emotional exertion so you can stop it in its tracks in the early stages whenever it arises. So you're always feeling low and lack of motivation in life. You always feel that something bad is going to happen. You have lost faith in life and there's nothing that can motivate you to move on. You feel like you are incapable of getting the work done. You struggle to find the motivation you need. The goals that once stimulated you to work hard are not enough. This is especially difficult to contend when you are at the workplace or school since there is inevitably due dates for various tasks or assignments. But if you are not motivated to get to those tasks, you won't get them done on time. This is especially difficult to contend when you are at workplace or school since there is inevitably due dates for various tasks and assignment. But if you are not motivated to get to these tasks, you won't get them done on time. So they will accumulate, which will make you procrastinate more. This can result in failing classes or getting warning at works. But if you are feeling numb, you really won't care much about, will you? You are easily irritated. You are getting affected by smallest of things lately. You find negativity all around you and any minute negativity irritates you. You lost your temper easily. As days go by, you feel hopeless. The inability and the lack of power make you feel more and more irritated. Unfortunately, this can mean you take your frustrations out on those closest to you, those who probably doesn't deserve it. You feel emotional detachment or sense a kind of detachment. You don't feel you are attracted to anyone or anything anymore. Nothing affects you. You don't feel good or bad. It's like you are just a body without any emotions. You have got numb. Whatever it is that you are dealing with has drained your light to the point where you literally can't feel the emotions you would normally feel when you encounter a situation or a subject. This is sort of like depression, only instead of feeling weighed down by emotion, you are weighed down by the absence thereof. You worry a lot, you have a lot of anxiety attacks. Mental fatigue triggers your sympathetic nervous system. That's your fight or flight mode. Anxiety is an alarm that tells you something is wrong. If you're always mentally exhausted, you might start to feel panic or worried all the time. That's often happen along the symptoms of depression. You cry for no reason at all. If you're at the point where having toothpaste fall off your toothbrush first thing in the morning is enough to bring you to bout of hysterical weeping. That's not good at all. When we are exhausted both physically and emotionally, or mentally, we pretty much lost the strength to cope with challenging situations and regular day to day stress is intensified. It's totally understandable that you are probably found yourself crying in front of others. Withdrawal from social activities. Well, your friends are planning to get together and instead of feeling excited, you feel nothing. Or worse, the idea of socializing feel like a mountain too high to climb. That isn't the usual I need some alone time feeling. It's an overwhelming sense of being drained at the thought of social interaction. It's your mind way of saying it's too taxed to handle the usual social engagements. And you have persistent feeling of sadness and apathy. Remember those activities and hobbies that used to lighten you up? When emotionally exhausted, they might not spark the same joy. It's a deeper kind of sadness or a sense of indifference that stick around, making everything feel like bit colorless. This isn't just a bad day, it's a sign that your emotional well being needs attention. You also have the cognitive difficulties. Concentration become difficult task, decision making feel overwhelming and your memory isn't what it used to be. These cognitive difficulties are not just frustrating, but they are the sign that your brain is struggling under the weight of emotional exertion. Feeling of inadequacy or failure. When you are emotionally or mentally drained, it's easy to fall into the trap of self criticism. You might feel like you're not doing well, you're not doing good, or that you are failing in some way. That isn't the reflection of your actual abilities or achievements, it's a symptom of the immense pressure you are under. You're zone out. This can look like mind wandering or drowsiness. It makes it difficult to pay close attention to what you are doing and what may not react to things very fast. This can be dangerous in certain situations, such as driving. Mental fatigue is linked to car wrecks. You do unhealthy things. You may start to drink or use drugs more than normal. Mental fatigue can take an even harder toll on those who already have a substance use disorder. Experts think that it's because drug addiction changes the parts of the brain that help you manage stress and control impulsive behaviors. Exercise feel harder. Experts aren't sure that why mental fatigue affects physical activity. Some think that your tolerance for the exercise may go down, so it may seem like you are putting in more effort than you really are. You cannot sleep properly. You often feel like you're out of the place. The overwhelming feeling of exertion make it harder for you to calm your thoughts and fall asleep. And insomnia become just another thing on the list. You're so very tired all the time and you all want to do is sleep, but you can't. Why? Because your thoughts are racing at top speed and you cannot break the loop. Just as you start to drift off, some worry will intrude and knock you back in the wakefulness. You make more mistakes. It's impossible for your work to be perfect all the time, but mental fatigue lessens your ability to catch and fix your mistakes quickly or at all. That can cause serious problems in certain jobs, such as one where you use machines, drive a vehicle, or fly a plane. You feel more pain. Everyone is different, but make it hard to say that how mental fatigue will affect your body. But you might get headaches, sore muscles, back pain, stomach issues, nausea. If you have an ongoing illness such as heart problems or itna, you may hurt a little bit more than usual. Fatigue is something different from just regular tiredness. We can be exhausted after a few days worth of partying, but that kind of exertion can be remedied with a couple of nights worth of decent sleep. Fatigue can't. When you're suffering from fatigue, it doesn't matter if you sleep 20 hours a day or drink 30 coffees in a span of a few hours, you will still be tired to the very marrow in your bones. This isn't just an occasional thing. This level of energy is your default setting right now. It just never seems to end. You are depressed. You may not have an energy or feel like you are moving in slow motion. Some people say they feel numb. This can make it hard to finish things at work or do daily activities. Tell your doctor if you have really low feelings or a sense of hopelessness for longer than 2 weeks. This can be a sign that your depression is more serious. Appetite changes, mostly loss of appetite. It means that you don't have the same desire to eat as you used to, or maybe you start eating more than usual. Physical symptoms. It's not all in your head. Emotional exhaustion can manifest physically too. Headaches that come out of nowhere, sleep that doesn't refresh, or a sudden change in appetite are your body SOS signals. These symptoms are your body way of waving a red flag, indicating that your emotional state is taking a physical toll. You become angry or impatient. Mental fatigue can put you in a bad mood. You may be short-tempered or irritated, snapping at people more often. It's hard to control your emotions when you are mentally tapped out.